I guess the tech that is in Rowan's deck, but
That's pretty important. Again, Ancient Star shuts off every ability on Pokemon Vs, and again, Duraludon VMAX has a pretty important ability in Skyscraper.
very important, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't attack it if you have special energies, and you know what? I think Mew only plays special energies. So that could be very important. Luckily, it's in the bottom 2 of the prizes, so once he does take knockouts there, he should be able to draw it. He can essentially take a knockout on Arceus eventually. He's going to start us off here, Rowan, with the Quick Ball. Not quite the Battle VIP pass, I'm sure. I'm sure he would love to see that, but not out of the realm of possibilities because he will be able to draw.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rowan here, Rowan here starting off this first turn with the Quick Ball, discarding a boss's order here. I didn't get to see the rest of the hands here, but hey, there is a Genesect off this Quick Ball, so.
That's okay. The hand should change very quickly again.
I know, right?
If that's what Mew's known for, right? To just getting even more in the hand. But again, we're talking about how he doesn't quite have the Battle VIP pass. He has to try and set up a little bit better. Maybe still grab the Aerodactyl V potentially, just so when he draws it off the prizes, he can still evolve. But we'll have to see again. Right now, the name of the game is trying to set up. He did go ahead and check his prizing there, check what resources he has to work with. He's going to need everything in his Mew deck to really deal with this situation. I mean, again.
So Mew usually has a pretty good matchup versus Duraludon, but if there's anyone that can handle this, I believe in Grant Shen. I'm just going to say that much for sure.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, I was talking about the Aerodactyl V-Star, but you know that's not the only way Mew has ways to shut off Pokemon abilities now, because he also plays Path of the Peak. I love how Mew was able to evolve into this control style deck. Fortunately, it's just going to be a pass there over to Grant.
Yep, all right, so we're over here on Grant Shen's side of the field. You might be a little confused seeing a Colress's Experiment in a non-Lost Box deck, but this has actually been a very pivotal supporter that has been slotted into Duraludon decks for extra draw support. One of the major issues Duraludon had throughout many of the other regional events throughout the season is just it can kind of brick sometimes. So having the draw support that Colress's Experiment gives you is huge.
Not only that, I think Colress is actually the perfect supporter in the Duraludon because you're a tank style deck. You don't want to give up easy prizes. So sometimes playing a research that sends something like an Arceus to the discard pile, it leaves you open to something like an Echoing Horn. Whereas if you use Colress Experiment, you send it to the Lost Zone, it's pretty safe there. It's not going to get picked up. Unfortunately, I don't think, Rowan does not play the Echoing Horn, so there's no threat of that. But that's always an option in Mew. We're going to see here he is just going to go ahead and get the attachment for turn onto the second Arceus V on the bench, fully recognizing that my active could potentially get knocked out. I mean, it's just a Mew VMAX away from getting knocked out there.
Yeah, this is a pretty usual setup here. If you're playing against Mew, you always want to prepare 2 Arceus V as soon as you can so that you keep things a little safe. I just want to mention that Grant Shen did prize 2 Fighting Energy. Of course, the Duraludon VMAX for that G-Max Pulverization move does require 1 Fighting Energy, and Grant Shen does only play 3 Fighting Energy in the deck. So 2 of them are in the prize cards. That one that's in hand for Grant Shen is the only Fighting Energy in the deck at this point until Grant Shen starts taking prize cards.
That sounds very important indeed.
And also there's also a Metal Energy, so there's only 5 metal Energy as well for Grant Shen. So having to navigate a little bit around some awkward prizing, but hey, hopefully you just start taking prize cards, you know, which is a possibility here.
And again, he can still power it up no matter what. I mean, he still has the resources. Right now, maybe he's thinking maybe if he only sets up 1 Duraludon, should be enough. I'm sure he'd love to set up 2, but going second might be a little tough. We do see the Mew VMAX there now evolve, so the Arceus V in the active should be getting knocked out very shortly. And unless, of course, something Rowan could opt to find here. If he can boss up the Arceus in the bench, that will put Grant Shen back a turn. And let's see here. He has used 2 Fusion Strike systems at this point. Does he have the boss's orders? Does he have a way to gust here? He does have an energy in hand for the Mew in the bench.
Yep, so this is kind of a big turn here for Rowan to really get things established here, but it's just going to be a judge here. So both players going to shuffle and draw into 4 cards. Grant Shen actually had a lot of fantastic cards in the hand there, especially working off of what the Colress provided as well with 3 to the hands. There's, of course, 1 Duraludon VMAX already in the lost zone there, as well as a boss's order. But yeah, this is gonna move Grant Shen down to 4 cards, which is a lot less to deal with on this upcoming turn from what he was working with before.
Yes. Gonna be a very, very important 4 cards here. Does find the Ultra Ball, has has a supporter for turn. That's pretty good. Again, he will have access to something like Arceus V-Star, a Starbirth, very powerful ability. So Rowan here needs to find maybe something like a Path to the Peak, slow them down a little bit.
Yeah, so of course that Genesect being moved to the side here, if you're confused about that, that is for that Fusion Strike system. So we're just signifying that that ability has been used. And what better way to just move it in a totally different position on the board there. Rotom Phone, looking at the top 5 cards of the deck, Rowan gets to choose 1 and put it to the top of the deck to maybe prepare the upcoming turn, unless there's some way, I mean, unless there's a Genesect in hand to draw some more cards, but I don't think that is the case here. But still, Rotom Phone is great for this. So of course, just shuffling up the deck, and that 1 card, I didn't see what it was, is going to be put right back to the top.
Yeah, essentially Marnie-proofing your next hand, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not that Genesect is, or Mew VMAX is afraid of Marnie, but yeah, just a little bit of insurance there. We're going to see the knockout, Techno Blast, doing 220 damage, just enough because of that choice belt.
Yeah, so something we are not surprised with, seeing that early knockout there. Of course, Rowan was able to go first, so getting that first knockout for the entire game here, going down 2 prize cards. Grant Shen does have the evolution here into the Arceus V-Star, which is going to unlock that V-Star power, that Starbirth ability here for Grant Shen if he chooses to use it here to establish the board a little bit more. Still needs an energy here to pull off the Trinity Nova, a double turbo energy, and align that Duraludon V with a ton of energy on the bench. Would also love to see a evolution for that VMAX as well.
Exactly. Just a couple of cards he needs, and that's exactly what he's going to be able to get with that Starbirth. Again, Starbirth, very, very powerful V-Star ability. One of the first as well. I know I've talked about how the most powerful V-Star ability is Summoning Star right now, but Starbirth, just as powerful. Just the ability to get the 2 cards you need from the deck to really set up is absolutely powerful. We're going to see the Marnie here now, though. And again, luckily Rowan was able to Marnie-proof the hand.
Marnie-proof the hand with that Rotom Phone. It's a little bit, it's kind of like a Renguru with that Primate Wisdom, but just a little bit different. So Grant Shen is going to have 5 new cards to the hand. Rowan is only going to have 4. And we're going to see that Starbirth here. So flipping that once per game Starbirth ability here, that V-Star power. And we're going to see that double turbo, a very common card that's drawn out with Starbirth because it's pretty much required here to establish your board.
Special energies in the history of Pokemon have always been the hardest to find. That's why you see like the Energy Lotto in the Reggie earlier. I mean, that's only the top 7 to get a special energy. So being able to just search a specific one from your deck, very powerful. We already had the Duraludon VMAX in hand, so opted for, research instead for the second choice, which is very smart. Again, you want to ensure that you have draws for the next turn. We're going to see the attachment there. And a Trinity Nova.
Yep, so that is going to get those energy, 3 energy, and that 1 single fighting that is in the deck for Grant Shen. It's going to be applied to that Duraludon VMAX, but Duraludon VMAX is very beefy, 330 HP on that VMAX Pokemon. So it is going to be a tall order, but it is possible for Mew VMAX to get there.
Exactly. We haven't seen any power tablets being played just yet. So with 4 power tablets, I believe that should be just enough. You're going to need a Path to the Peak as well. Again, you have to shut off the Skyscraper ability, but let's just see. Again, it's the resources game at this point. Both players able to set up. We have a game here. We have Arceus V-Star. We have Duraludon. And now, game starts.
Well, and the one thing about going against Duraludon VMAX is the prize mapping is just a little weird. Because, yeah, you can take those 2 first prize cards off the Arceus V, but then Rowan's now in a position where, in order to win, at least with this board state, would have to take out the VMAX and that Arceus V-Star as well. So moving through, kind of playing a 7 prize card game here, which is not really what you want to do when you're playing Pokemon, but hey, that's what you have to do against Duraludon. Versus Grant Shen does have the ability with gusting cards to just kind of get through these Genesect V, and there's still that damaged Mew VMAX as well. So a little bit more versatility from Grant's side of the field, playing Duraludon VMAX here as far as the prize mapping. But hey, let's see what Rowan decides to do with this turn.
He's going to be able to do a lot with 4 Genesect Vs in play, Fusion Strike system. That's going to be a lot of draws. And I believe I saw the Forest Seal Stone coming into hand as well. That means he gets access to anything he wants in the deck there. And yeah, again, you mentioned it earlier, just going to the odd prize race. Odd prize is awkward, but not only that, it's the HP on this Pokemon. 330 and 280. You can't possibly one-hit both of these without getting lucky with a couple of Silenes, potentially.
True, which I mean is not even in the deck. That's the question.
It is. There's one Silene.
There's one Silene. Yeah, there's so many different builds of Mew VMAX. Some players have chosen to cut the Silene, but Rowan is still playing that one Silene.
Yes, there's one Silene, one Boss's Order, so he can do like a couple of Silenes there. Because, again, he's going to need all 4 on the Duraludon. Again, this is one-shot territory, right? All 4 for the Duraludon, 2 on the Arceus. Yeah,
whereas Grant Shen here does play, I mean, this is how important Gust is. There's 4 Boss's Order in deck. Of course, 1 is in the Lost Zone as of now, but that just shows you how important Gusting abilities is for Grant Shen. All right, so we are going to see the switch here with an Escape Rope, I believe. So Duraludon VMAX is now being put into the active position on Grant's side of the field, so Rowan is going to get some damage off into that.
That is perfect, actually. You mentioned earlier the name of the game is going to be Gust, Gust, Gust. And you know what? It has to be with the Duraludon, though, because Duraludon doing 220 damage. Arceus only doing 180, technically does not knock out Genesect V. So getting the first hit on the Duraludon is going to be big, but you're going to need the Path of the Peak.
Yeah, and we did see a Cramomatic Tails there, unfortunately, for Rowan. Not what you want to see being a Mew VMAX player. You'd like to just go into your deck and grab anything you want. But hey, guess what? Path to the Peak and Judge. We were just talking about Path to the Peak. Marnie, Temple of Sinnoh, Judge, and now we have Path to the Peak, Judge. I mean, just showing you how powerful this combination is. It can really disrupt your opponent enough to buy you some turns and take some games here, and that's what we're going to see. So both players going to draw into 4 cards. This is incredibly important for Grant Shen, not having as much draw power here, but I mean, so as Rowan as well, but I mean, there's still a Fusion Strike system left.
Grant was able to get a stadium in hand. He does have the collapsed stadium there. Pretty good stadium against the Mew VMAX deck, because it does limit the amount of Genesect. Something I would have loved to see is Rowan set up 3 Mew Vs. So in that case, if he attacks with, he leave the damage one on the bench, and then if the collapsed stadium does go down, he has an option to heal it. I mean, get it out of play there. But again, 4 Genesects in play, a lot of draw. We're going to see a Chorus Experiment as well. A lot of damage on both players' board. Again, how much damage is that on the Duraludon at the moment? That is 220. One more attack. Even a Max Miracle at this point should be close. No, it's going to be a knockout.
Quick math. Quick math.
Yes, 110 with the Max Miracle should be able to knock out. So aligning it perfectly, even if that Path of the Peak goes down.
Yep, so that would be a knockout there on the Duraludon VMAX, but hey, you know what Grant Shen potentially has is the ability to heal, but of course we would have to see a Hyper Potion with a double turbo as well. I'm not sure if that is in the cards here for Grant potentially, but we shall see.
Yeah, something I noticed he keep in the hand there was the Single Strike Mustard. So if he kept it in the hand, he must be thinking he still has the capability to potentially set up a second Duraludon, maybe?
There actually is no healing in Grant Shen's den. I'm looking at the deck list right now, and Grant Shen doesn't play any healing.
Yeah, so that damage is going to stick.
Yeah, that is going to stick. A lot of Duraludon VMAX players do play healing, but Grant Shen, who, like we said, is the Dura Demon, piloting this deck for so long, not playing any healing abilities here. So that Duraludon VMAX is there, but hey, guess what? Grant Shen just took a knock for 3 prize cards here on that Mew VMAX. So now it's over to Rowan's side of the field.
Yes, here we do see him play a quick ball there, discarding the Battle VIP pass, something he's not going to need anymore. Again, only active on the first turn. He's going to need to find a second Mew V. Is it in the deck there? He's going through it. I'm trying to remember his prizes. Does he have a prize Mew V? He does play the 4.
Many, 2 prize cards have been taken. I'm not sure if there has been a Mew V. There is one in the prize cards for Rowan.
Okay, he plays 4, so there's should be one in the deck.
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
there it is.
There's
got a little bit worried.
Got a little worried there. It's so tough to see these players' hands, but yeah, there we go. We have the switch into the Mew V here, and that's going to be the boss's orders there as well to bring that Arceus V-Star into the active position.
Okay, okay. I like this play here.
Zero
I think
card hand into a Fusion Strike system.
I think what he's trying to do here is he's trying to just get this knockout. Right now, he doesn't have the Path of the Peak, and you're going to have to knock out the Arceus anyway, and this might be my time to just evolve into Mew VMAX, use my power tablets, use as many as I need, take this knockout, and then set up a checkmate scenario on the Duraludon, because as long as Rowan can get 2 Mew VMAX in play, he will have access to Max Miracle to close out the game, or potentially Path to the Peak.
Absolutely. Playing this super confidently here from Rowan's side, because you don't know if Grant has healing in the deck. It's so common for Dura decks to play that. So just kind of playing around that regardless. We did see the Collapse Stadium get bumped from the Lost Vacuum there. That's why we see a Lost Zone for Rowan now as well, that Arceus V-Star. Power Tablet is out here. Rowan has the ability to draw into more cards from these Fusion Strike systems, and also Lost City is now in play for the stadium between these players.
Yes, Rotom Phone being played now. Let's see who he decided to call. What is going to help out here? He has only 1 more Fusion Strike system to work with.
All right, here we go. Last Fusion Strike system. Let's see what is drawn into. It's only going to be a couple of cards here into the hands for Rowan.
He's going to need 2 more power tablets to take this knockout, and there's one more. And with the V-Star.
There is that Forest Seal Stone that is going to draw out that last power tablet needed here. That makes 3 power tabs. What a powerful turn, if I do say so myself, Wancho.
I'll have to agree. Taking a knockout there on Arceus V-Star, 280 HP. Now it's just a Duraludon against the world. And let's see here. Again, something Grant has to do. He has to gust, believe it or not, the Mew V on the bench.
Yes, absolutely. Needs to gust that Mew V. Tell us why, Wancho.
He has to gust the Mew V because, again, the game plan is Rowan has to get 2 Mew VMAX in play to be able to copy Max Miracle. Unfortunately, you can't cross Fusion Strike and copy your own attack. Max Miracle requires 2 Psychic Energy, which is not possible. And yeah, that's the cleanest way to get this knockout. There are other ways, of course, like Path of the Peak.
Boss's order in hand for Grant.
There it is. There's the boss's orders.
There's the boss for the Mew V, moving it into the active position here. Collapse Stadium is also in play here, of course. No bench for Grant Shen, but Rowan is limited to 4 now off that Collapse Stadium. But I mean, that's what it's been at for a while here, and unfortunately, it's going to go down even more once this Mew V is out of the count here. Ultra Ball discarding 2 cards to search out a Pokemon here, discarding the Arceus V-Star straight away. Off of the Ultra Ball with a Quick Ball for a Duraludon V.
They're just thinning the deck there. They are getting a Duraludon V. I don't think it's possible at this point in time to really power that up. Might take a little bit too long. So this is literally the last Duraludon they have to work with. Just thinning out the deck, just in case something like Roxanne could potentially happen, because again, it's just a boss. He's 1 more boss away from winning the game. But Rowan here, if he has the Path of the Peak, he will take this game.
Oh my gosh, what do we got? What do we got?
And hoping Mew doesn't have it, not the best strategy. Again, with Fusion Strike system, just being able to draw so many cards.
Yeah, it is a tough position to be in, but hey, I mean, sometimes they don't hit it.
Yeah, again, there's only 4 Fusion Strike Pokemon right now.
Oh no,
Silene.
Silene. Oh, there's
one.
There's one.
Should get the Path of the Peak,
Yes,
and
that's
there
gonna
it
be
is.
Silene, you roll 2 cards here, and then for each heads that you roll, you get to search out cards from your discard pile. It's just any cards, right?
Yeah, any
any card from your discard pile.
Put it on top of your deck.
Put it on top of the deck, of course, which is searched right back out again with those Genesect off the Fusion Strike system. So both players knew what was going on there, and Rowan is going to take our game 1 here. So Wancho, your Mew deck technically leading right now, but I believe in Grant Shen.
The Dura Demon, yes. If anyone can bring this back, it's going to have to be him. You know, I think Rowan needs a nickname as well. Mew Master.
Mew Master. Oh, I like it.
Sounds like it fits.
Mew Master.
Bringing it to a 10-1-2 here in the Charlotte Regional Championship. Huge accomplishment in itself. So, again, very, very excited about this game.
Me too.
I think both players played it absolutely beautifully. You saw there, you know, Grant realizing that, you know, I can't allow a Max Miracle to happen.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm just one more boss's orders away from winning. But again, just didn't quite get that turn. That's how tight these games are. Literally, if I have one more turn, I can get there.
Yeah, I mean, we've said before, you know, Mew is usually a pretty tough matchup if you're playing Duraludon, but really anything can happen here. But it's just so consistent in what it is able to draw from the deck and how it's able to navigate around what your strategy is. I mean, you do have the advantage with a little bit of awkward prize mapping as we discussed there, but let's take a look at these prize cards for Grant Shen. That's going to be do double turbo energy, and they're at the top as well. So double turbo is pretty important to get early game, of course. You can just attach it to your Arceus V or V-Star, depending if you're going first or second, because you need to get that Trinity Charge or Trinity Nova to be able to access your energy and power up a Pokemon.
Exactly, we do. I mean, with the double turbo, you only need one. As long as you have one in the deck, Starburst should be able to find it. It's just going to be
harder to get it, though.
Starburst, just as easy.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. Well, especially since it looks like Grant went first here. So as long as you're not going second and whiffing a double turbo, that's a little bit more rough. So Grant's going first, attaching that metal energy here, and now we're over to Rowan's side of the field, starting that Aerodactyl V.
Exactly. I think Grant, you know, sometimes when you're playing Arceus, you don't really need to ask for much. As long as you get an Arceus V-Star, Arceus V plus an energy for a turn, I'm pretty happy.
A lot. Yeah, that's exactly where you want to be.
Whoa, here for Rowan. Only has the Aerodactyl V and a Genesect V straight into Path.
Yeah, I mean, Path is going to be pretty crucial here if Grant is not able to bump it. Of course, we've been talking so much about the V-Star ability here, but hey, it's an ability, and the V-Star, Arceus V-Star is a rule box Pokemon. So
exactly, and now I have to say, you're absolutely correct. The two DTEs, yeah, gonna be a lot harder to find, but you know what, with the attachment for turn, Trinity Charge, it's just as good.
Yeah, it's really not relevant unless you're going second as much, because then you just Trinity Charge with the one attached per turn. But for Grant Shen, got all the energy needed here, and without a double turbo too, if it's another basic energy attached to that Arceus V, which I imagine it will be, then it doesn't even have the nerf and damage off the double turbo either. So hitting a little bit harder there too. So yeah, we're gonna see that metal energy being placed onto the field here. It's gonna be 3 metal onto the Arceus V on bench is what it looks like. Of course, having to save those fighting energy because there's only 3 in deck, and the one Pokemon that requires the fighting energy is that Duraludon VMAX. So you want to make sure you're placing those very strategically.
Exactly. Grant has the time to do this again because of Rowan's a little bit of a slow start. Did find themselves the Forest Seal Stone though, so exactly what they need in this position.
Yeah.
Typically, I like, you know, sometimes getting the Forest Seal Stone is just like a 5th battle VIP pass on your first turn. But it's not your first turn, unfortunately. Gonna just go ahead and grab the Judge Reset. Again, only having 4 cards to work with. Then the big question is, can Rowan get the Fusion Strike train going? Again, only one Fusion Strike Pokemon in play at the moment. Aerodactyl V doesn't count as a Fusion Strike Pokemon.
One big big way to get there, of course, was bumping that path to the peak. So, you know, Mew VMAX, of course, playing very aggressively now, pathing their opponent when they need to, but being able to bump it when you need it for your Fusion Strike system. So Rowan at least getting that out of the way, but like you said, Wancho, we need to see Pokemon, and specifically Fusion Pokemon here for Rowan. We're going to see an escape rope, though, and I feel like this is kind of rough here for Rowan.
A lot of switching going around, just rope after rope.
Yeah, it was 2 escape ropes.
And drawing one off the Fusion Strike system, is it a good card? Something I have to talk about real quick as well. Rowan had to bump his own Path of the Peak, and there's one prize.
That's true.
No more Path of the Peak.
No more Path to the Peak unless we see, I guess, Silene shenanigans happen. But yeah, that's a good thing to point out here, Wancho, because at this point, you know, we talked about, yeah, it's pretty favored for Mew VMAX, but not when your Mew VMAX deck is playing like this. And having the Aerodactyl V, V-Star, and starting it too, which is so awkward, kind of gets you in a bit of a difficult position, a bit of a pickle at playing Mew VMAX. Your deck is a little bit more inconsistent there, and I think that's what we're kind of seeing here from Rowan's side of the field, not able to get those explosive Mew VMAX turns that we're so used to seeing, and so many cards have already been burned out of the hand to try to get something off Fusion Strike system and just coming up short. So Grant Shen, even not having a Dura out yet, there's still 2 almost fully loaded, about to be fully loaded really, Arceus V on the table here, Duraludon V as well, and we're just going to get so... It's just going to be a Trinity charge. Yes, it's going to be a Trinity charge here, and then Rowan is going to go into the deck already with the Silene. That is going to be 1 heads here, so Rowan gets 1 card out of the discard pile.
What do you get, though? It's going to be the Rotom phone. That doesn't
to try to
help.
I'm sure. I don't know.
I think this is a position where he wanted double tails, because there's nothing useful in the discard pile. He can only draw 1 card.
Yeah,
and that one card, it's not going to matter again. This is going to be another not so productive turn.
Yeah, not productive at all. Just choosing the escape rope to put to the top and Grant Shen. Oh my gosh, look at all these energy. These Pokemon are fully loaded now. Being able to utilize 2 Trinity charge in a row. We're going to see the Gust here with the boss's order. A quick swipe of that Genesect V off the field, which is putting Rowan in an even more difficult spot. And Grant Shen is going to take the 2 first prize cards of the game.
Yes, and just real quick, Genesect does go to Lost Unknown. There's no way to really get the Oh, no, Silene actually can get Genesect V's back, so that could matter here. But again, Rowan in a very, very tough position. Didn't have anything to do there. No Fusion Strike systems to draw. It's just going to be a knockout there with the Duraludon.
Oh my gosh, Grant Shen is just cleaning up this board here. Duraludon VMAX taking a knockout. No damage at all yet on Grant Shen's side of the field.
Rowan does find themselves another Genesect V, which means he will be able to draw at least 2 cards here. But Grant, down to the last 2 prizes, doesn't have to even attack this Mew VMAX. If he has a Gust, he has this game, and something we haven't talked about yet. He plays 4 Boss's Orders and 3 Pokemon catchers.
Yeah, we have not mentioned the catchers.
That's a lot of Gust.
Yeah, look at that. There is so much Gust because we've emphasized how important Gusting is in this matchup. Grant Shen just running away with that game. I mean, we saw a pretty lengthy game 1, and Rowan was able to take it, but Grant Shen ties it up here 1-1 between these players in our Swiss round 14. I think it's worth noting as well, if Rowan is able to take this, that is putting him in the range of the points he needs to potentially top cut here.
Definitely.
Grant Shen a little bit more behind, but of course still wanting to take this win and get there as well.
Exactly. I mean, being at 35 points, definitely a comfortable position to be in. I mean, both these players want to win this game. And
of course,
yeah, something I do want to talk about again real quick is just, you know, sometimes that happens in the Mew VMAX deck. That's the risk you have to take when you're deck building. Again, we've seen the Mew VMAX deck evolve into this more teched out version. We have Aerodactyls, we have Paths, we have Lost City. None of those guards really add to consistency. You're just kind of depending on the fact that Mew VMAX in itself is a consistent deck. But again, there is a perfect Mew VMAX deck where all you play are ball searches, all your Genesects, all your Fusion Strike system,
super consistent,
just all your draws. But then, you know, that might not win you games against certain matchups. That's why you do run the risk of teching out. And
a little too much.
A little bit too much, but it does pay off. But there are times where this exact scenario can happen. When you start with your tech and not much else, that's a That's pretty bad.
That's a pickle for sure, but hey, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And let's check out these prize cards for both of our players here in our Game 3.
A lot of supporters there for the Duraludon player. Pat the peek in the bottom section, which is pretty good. Nice place to be in for sure. Again, you mentioned earlier the weakness sometimes of Duraludon is going to be those supporters, and having 2 Marnie.
And a Colress.
And a
Colress. That means there's only 1 Marnie and 1 Colress.
Those are his only draw support options. He has a lot of gusting options, though.
Are we living off
Single strike mustard.
Starbirth?
Oh.
Yeah. Starbirth is really going to be the only way to seek out exactly what you want in the deck. Really, if you're limited those draw options here. But yeah, that could be very difficult for Grant Shen. Prize cards on Rowan's side, nothing too crazy. There is one of those paths to the peak.
Yes, in the perfect position, though. Again, at the bottom of the prizes. If he draws it, how you expect to, he should have access to it in the middle of the game.
Absolutely. All right. So, of course, Rowan did not take the last game, so opting to go first here, as you usually do in a Mew VMAX match. And so Rowan is going to just start the turn off. Genesect V in the active position, as well as another Genesect V on bench. It's going to be a Rotom phone to find the infamous, we haven't even seen it yet, Battle VIP pack.
Yeah, just, Rowan was just so happy to draw there. He didn't have to show. He didn't, when you use a Rotom phone, you can just put it on top of your deck. But this is exactly what I need to draw this turn.
Yeah, exactly.
But he loves it so much, he's gonna find it again.
Spinning the hand, I suppose.
Yeah, it looks like he only has access to 2 Fusion Strike Pokemon.
Yeah.
That means he has
have to burn
his,
another card.
He has to thin his hand down to 1.
Yep. And also has to burn a power tablet. Not something you want to do, but hey, when you do that to get your Battle VIP pass, that's where you have to be, honestly. So a Genesect V coming out and a Mew V as well. So now that's 4 fusion Pokemon in play now. So Rowan can draw up to 4 in hand with those Fusion Strike systems.
A lot better position than the second game for sure. Especially, again, you're going first. If you have the potential here to just be ahead in prizes. Both players have to evolve their Pokemon, so going first absolutely critical. Gets the second Mew V in play now by discarding that Aerodactyl. I don't think that Aerodactyl is going to matter too much in this matchup. Gets the double turbo, and I think that's all you really need this turn. Maybe a switch. Finding a switch would be perfect, and the Mew VMAX for the following turn.
Yeah. Choice
Bolt as well. That's good. You have to hit the 220 mark.
That's 1 damage modifier up, essentially, for Rowan's side of the field. That was a pretty solid first turn for Rowan.
Not bad.
Especially compared to last game.
Exactly. Did have to sacrifice a power tablet, but a necessary sacrifice. Now back to Grant Shen again.
What is his hand? I feel like Grant Shen is not looking too happy.
He has an Ultra Ball. So he should get a second Pokemon. That's what I was worried about. He has the single strike mustard in hand as well. I'm trying to see if there's a world. He's doing the same thing. He's doing the same mental math. As you can see, Ultra Ball maybe discarding 2 cards that are unplayable here.
Even if he's he's trying to map it out.
If he Ultra Balls both the Arceus V-Star and the Research, plays the Escape Rope, attaches the Energy, Evolution Incense for nothing, 1 card in hand, that's a single strike mustard.
That is the single strike mustard. You have to play your hand entirely down, but then you get a free VMAX onto the board here. But Grant Shen would also, we talk about these double turbos all the time. If that was a double turbo, instead of just a basic energy, that would be incredible. But unfortunately would not be able to get that Trinity charge off, which is pretty essential if you're going second, as I mentioned so much in our last game that we saw, because you need to line up those energies as early as possible. And if Grant Shen loses his only Arceus V and has no energy on a VMAX, that's really tough.
Maybe, yes, it's so tempting to do the play I mentioned. Getting a single strike mustard off, it's an amazing feeling. But maybe getting in a better position, that's an even better feeling.
Yeah, when you're able to do what you need to do here, but still mapping it all out. So yeah, that is what we're going to see here, the Ultra Ball. I think this is a much better position for Grant to be in because, and we saw this in game 1 as well, Grant just lining up the board here to Arceus V down because it's a pretty good chance. It's pretty much almost guaranteed that the Mew, as long as Rowan can get a couple more cards here, can just knock out an Arceus V.
Exactly. So getting the second Arceus V, very, very important. But was so excited. If it
I know,
was,
you wanted it so bad, Wancho.
if it was a double turbo, 100%.
Oh
go
yeah,
for that
oh,
play,
for
right?
sure, yeah, definitely.
But again, perfect. Oh, gets the professor's research.
Oh no, Professor's research. Yeah, I guess that is in the list.
Interesting. Again, not not quite sure, but again, it does have the Duraludon V now in play. But let's see here. It's just going to be a pass now. Does get the Rowan here has the Cramomatic heads, and I believe that is it with the Cramomatic heads. Oh, no, let's see. It does find themselves the Mew VMAX there. No, we're still going. Mew VMAX and gets the switch as well. That means that is going to be a knockout on the Arceus V.
Yep.
Again, 220, perfect math
Yeah, we
here.
saw a quick zoom out there, but we're still going here.
I thought we were leaving.
No, yeah, we are still going.
Gets the boss's orders as well. Perfect supporter there, essentially bringing back the Arceus, taking out the Arceus with the 1 energy, putting Grant behind 1 more turn.
Absolutely, yep. Putting Grant behind, and that is not where you want to be when it's a 1-1 situation in, potential winning in for a top cut for these players down the line. It is so much on the line here. We're over to Rowan's turn now, and I believe this is an Ultra Ball? We're discarding 2 cards? Yeah, that's what it must be. Ultra Ball, discarding the Battle VIP pass in a Lost City here to get another Mew V out of the deck.
Yes, there we go. You have 3 Mew Vs in play, 3 Genesects. That 3 Genesect, I think that's perfect. You know, you have 3 you can draw up to 3 times at this point. Great position to be in. You're knocking out an Arceus with an energy attachment. If I was Rowan, I'd be feeling good right now. It's just a matter of going through making sure you do make the right plays at this point. You draw the right cards. And
yeah, Mew VMAX is not a deck you want to miss sequence, that is for sure. All right, here we go. There's the knockout on the board here for Rowan, taking the first 2 prize cards of this Game 3. 13 minutes and 30 seconds still left on the clock here for these players to conclude this match. And I think we are going to see a conclusion here, potentially. Plenty of time on the board here. Ultra Ball discarding an Arceus V and a Metal Energy here for Grant.
Something Grant has access to is going to be that Raihan. Raihan's going to be a very important card here. I mentioned earlier, he did get set back a turn in energy attachments. Because of that boss's orders, he can essentially get that turn back by playing the Raihan, accelerate an energy from the discard pile, and get, another card from the deck. Essentially, another free half Starbirth. And that's exactly what he looks like he's going to do here. And just like that, looks like Grant's back in it.
Back in it to win it here. Grant Shen, as we've said so much, Grant knows how to play Duraludon and knows this list, I'm sure, like the back of his hand as well. So there we go. Starbirth is going to get a double turbo energy here. VMAX coming down onto that Duraludon as well. And here's the Raihan. So we're going to see the attachment here onto the Arceus V-Star going into the deck. That card was already drawn out there from Grant, but it's going to now be drawn out with the Raihan.
Very interesting. I love that he saw the Pokemon catcher there, and I love this play. This is something he has access to. Pokemon catcher. Again, you flip a coin. If heads, you get to Gust here. This is very big. It is! That means
that is amazing.
He gets to Gust up a Mew V here, takes a knockout, takes 2 prizes, and that's very important. Again, the goal of the game is to Gust,
Incredible.
and being able to Gust by not having to play boss's orders. That's pretty big. That's pretty important. And I love the camaraderie here on the table. You have both players just, giving them, just shaking hands at. When Rowan got the Battle VIP pass, when Grant flipped heads.
Such a hype moment.
Yeah, that's why we play the Pokemon TCG, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
For these moments.
Yep, that Pokemon catcher, there's 3 in the deck, of course 1 in the prize cards, but yeah, that one is going to pay off here for Grant, taking a bit of a gamble there, but it paid off for sure. 2 prize cards down on Grant's side of the field, so now tying up the game once again as far as prize cards go. Back over to Rowan's side of the field now, fully loaded. Look at all those Genesects, wow.
Yes, a lot of Genesect there, but those are Duraludon targets. Again, if Grant can just go Gust, he's going to be a happy Duraludon player. Oh, sorry, just Gust.
Yeah, I know, right? Gus Gus. Exactly. Yep.
And now here over to Rowan. I think he has to be able to.
Ooh, cram a cram?
Ooh.
More flips? Oh,
Oh,
this one
not
is going to
as
be a
lucky.
tails. Yeah.
Yeah. I think here what Rowan has to do is he has to get that first hit again on the Duraludon,
Yeah.
right? Because, again, Duraludon is the one that's going to be able to take knockouts on Genesect V. If he can essentially two-shot that, he'll only have access to do that just one more time. And at that point, you don't bench any more Mew Vs. We're going to see the Judge there. Very big card again. And let's see what these players draw.
Yeah, I think Grant had pretty small hands there. I think it was only like 4 or 5 cards potentially. So yeah, just kind of resetting the hand here. 4 new cards. If Grant didn't have what was in hands, maybe this will actually help out potentially. But yeah, Rowan making sure to judge when possible, because it also makes, gives Rowan a fresh set of cards here, and then you can also just play down those cards to be able to draw even more cards from your deck. So
exactly, yeah,
great supporter.
As a second use, right? Sometimes in the Mew deck, you have resources you don't want to use at this this moment, but we want to have access to later in the game. So you don't want to just play it willy-nilly and just draw into more stuff. But that's a great way to just put it back in the deck, and you know what? I'll just get a fresh hand with Genesect. And we're going to see the energy attachment there onto the Mew VMAX. At this point, oh yeah, he did play a power tablet earlier. This is the second power tablet. He needs one more to take this knockout, or potentially... Oh, no, he has this knockout with the choice belt.
Yeah, the choice belt. Yep. Choice belt is already on there. That's 3 damage modifiers here. So Rowan's sitting nice and pretty here. Yeah, the one was in the discard, but just taken out of there, to make sure it's signified that it is in play for this turn, because Power Tablet is only in play for 1 turn. It would be wild if it lasted longer than that. But yeah, you have 1 chance to play those Power Tabs.
Exactly here. So I think what Rowan's trying to do is just, again, you're taking a knockout on the Arceus V-Star, and with the Judge, you're hoping Grant doesn't get the Gust.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the name of the game here, hoping Grant doesn't get the Gust. I mean, did everything possible, too, with the Judge, kind of playing down Grant's hand here, but we'll see. All right, Rowan going in with a Rotom phone. Rowan in the Rotom phone here.
Let's see who he gets to call. Is there anyone going to help out? There's a nice boss's orders could potentially. No, I don't think you're going to need boss's orders at this point. There's only going to be 1 Pokemon in play. So I think he did grab himself the Ultra Ball. Maybe just
I think it was the Ultra Ball. Yep.
Yep, just put it back on top of the deck there. And let's see here.
I think they're adding up the math here, but that is going to add up to a knockout here on that Arceus V-Star. Wancho, I'm getting scared. Things are, a lot's on the line here, and things are narrowing down in our Game 3. Rowan now only at 2 prize cards left. Of course, we've talked so much about a bit of an awkward prize mapping Rowan has to get through, because if Grant Shen just mains this Duraludon VMAX and is able to take these last couple of Gusts and prize cards, Grant Shen could be the winner here if Rowan's not able to work through the Duraludon in time.
But all Grant needs here is 1 Gust. He can just hit into this Mew VMAX and then just Gust it the next turn. It's the same thing as going Gust. So, that 1 Pokegear in Pokegear 2.0, 3.0 in his hand is going to be the world there. And again, because both Pokemon in play, both Mews have evolved, there's no access to something like Psychic Leap to heal up a Mew.
And there's no like Collapse Stadium plays. Well, Grant plays Collapse Stadium, but Grant is not going to be playing Collapse Stadium at this point in time, because that would mean Rowan can just swipe that Pokemon right off the board. So.
Oh no! Oh, Pokegear.
Yeah, I was like, what happened? Okay.
Find it, didn't
I was like, whoa, what are we throwing here? But yeah, that is a Pokegear. Looking at top 7, searching for a supporter, but I mean, there's a lot of supporters in the prize cards.
But there's a lot of ways to Gust. Yes. In my mind, he was going for the boss's orders, maybe just a little bit early.
Yeah.
There is some logic to maybe just holding on to that Pokegear to just maybe dig for it the next turn. But finding a Colress experiment would have been big there for sure. Just thin out the deck. And now we're going back to Rowan. Rowan does have to find himself a path to the peak to be able to hit into this Duraludon to do any type of damage. So if he doesn't get that down as well, Grant could still be sitting pretty here.
I don't know, though. Grant's hand, I mean, it's only 2 cards. It's a Duraludon V and a Collapse Stadium, which is not what
Yeah.
you want. It's like you want to play neither of those cards.
All Grant literally has to do next turn is draw boss's orders, and he wins.
So top deck?
That's the strategy here.
Top deck strategy here.
Yes.
Duraludon VMAX on full display. Rowan going into an escape rope. Things are getting very sticky here, I think, for Grant Shen. I think it is. We're living off top deck here right now.
I'm already picturing the scenario for the next turn. He's going to top deck a Pokemon catcher, and it's just going to be all the stress.
Oh my gosh. Wancho, don't do this. Meanwhile, Rowan hitting 2 heads here on the Silene.
Can he knock out
my
the
gosh.
Duraludon? Is that an option that's 2 heads on a Silene? How many?
Yeah, that's
No,
pretty wild.
he had to use 2 power tablets on the Arceus V-Star, and then he had to dump an early power tablet. So even with 2 heads on the Silene, he can't possibly get 4 power tablets. So he can't win this turn. But still,
Duraludon VMAX too big.
Exactly. Looks like he's opting for
the escape rope.
Escape rope. I like that because
Yeah, was eyeing up the boss, but opted for the escape rope. I mean,
I
knowing
mean-
that Grant's not going to play, more than 1 Pokemon, if any.
exactly. I think just having that in hand, just so that maybe you don't get boss stall. But I don't think you can get boss stall because if you have boss, you have game. So
Yeah.
just the path of the peak there, exact
Important.
card you need.
Yep.
Rowan is lining it up to essentially win the next turn.
Checkmate scenario. Can Grant Shen overcome it, though? We don't know.
All the pressure here. So many. Grant Shen's hopes and dreams to winning the Charlotte Regional Championship. Is it possible?
Grant has 4 prize cards left?
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, wait, did we see that wrong? Or has Grant been working with 4 prize cards this whole time?
No, okay, you're right. So he doesn't win. He doesn't win.
No, yeah.
My mistake. My
yeah,
mistake.
I think I was tracking that too, Wancho, and you're like, 3 prize cards, we're
Oh,
good.
he gets the
Oh, no.
So it still doesn't. It still doesn't matter. He does have the
doesn't,
guts, but again,
yes.
checkmate scenario. I got a little bit of ahead of myself.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, I was thinking the same exact thing, Wancho. I was thinking 3 prize cards for some reason, but hey, Rowan Stavenow setting up that checkmate, and Grant Shen not able to overcome it. Only 1 prize card would be needed left and was just not able to get there. So Rowan is going to take the win here. And that means, what, 30, it's 35 points
35
sitting at this point.
Very comfortably. There's still 1 more round, I
Yes.
believe, before we get into Top Cut. So very, very, very much in a good position. If I was Rowan, I'd be feeling good, especially if you were able to beat the Duraludon demon himself.
Yes, taking down Grant Shen there, Rowan, with that Mew VMAX. So that was incredible. I mean, we had several crazy things happen in that match.